Hi, hope you're having a calm and peaceful day. And I'm glad you could join me here at Marshashana Yoga. Well, we're heading into the summer here in New England, and so that means we're going to be exposing a lot more skin than we do in the wintertime, obviously. And that is the subject of my show today. The skin is the largest organ in the human body, covering about 20 square feet. It helps to filter stuff out, keep the internal temperature regulated, and it gives us our sensation of hot and cold and touch. There are three layers to the skin. The outer layer is the epidermis, which gives our skin its tone and also provides a waterproof barrier. The dermis is under that, and that contains the hair follicles, the sweat glands, and the connective tissue. The deeper layer is the hypodermis, and it is composed of connective tissue and fat. There can be many problems with the skin. A rash is a kind of general term for conditions that range from basic skin irritation to symptoms of medical conditions or reactions to medication or stress. Dermatitis is also a general term for inflammation. Dandruff is that scaly condition that is considered a form of dermatitis. Psoriasis is an autoimmune disorder that usually presents as a scaly plaque. Eczemas cause an itchy rash, and it is usually caused by an overactive immune system. Rosacea, which is a chronic issue, isn't really that well understood at this time, but it causes that redness on the face. Cellulitis is a deeper problem involving the bottom layers and is usually caused by an infection. We've all had that infected cut, so you know that it's red and warm and usually painful. There's also skin abscesses, also known as boils, where a skin infection creates gunk under the skin. And there's warts, a viral infection that causes skin to grow excessively. In addition, consider herpes, hives, fungal infections, scabies, ringworms, named such for the circle they make, not caused by worms. And probably the most common one, acne. On a more serious level are shingles and the various skin cancers. Melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, which is the most common, and others. So again, we ask, how can yoga help? Well, certain poses help bring blood flow to the face and head area. Poses like triangle, cobra, fish, shoulder stand, and child's pose can help. Because these are chest openers, they bring more oxygen into the system, and the inversions and forward bends up the amount of blood going to the head, which can lead to better skin. It seems that if there's more blood flow to that area, it will be healthier. As my teacher Kathy would say, does that make sense? Twists are great because when we do that wringing action with the body, we squeeze out toxins and old stale emotions. That sounds good for the skin too. Some postures and the breath work, like Nadi Shodhana Pranayama or alternate nostril breath, and other types can help to detoxify the skin as we exhale. Doing yoga facial movements such as tightening and releasing of the muscles of the face, and the kiss and smile technique, and massaging the jaws or eyebrows can all help with improving the skin. This can improve the elasticity. And meditation brings its own inner glow, maybe less makeup. Other natural things you can do to help this major body organ: drink lots of water. Add some lemon and honey to help detoxify your whole system. Here we think about that niyama of sosha, being clean in mind, body, and spirit. Eat well. And do poses like wind relieving pose when we bring the knee up. When we're on our back, we bring that knee into the chest. That helps with digestion. Better skin is a side effect of a digestive system that is working well. And don't forget to get good sleep. Now I would like to bring someone special in front of the camera for a bit. He is the director of this show, so although you don't usually see him, although he has been on the show a few times, he is always here behind the scenes. That's my son Mark Mancuso, and I'm going to bring him out now. Mark, I know you can relate to our show today because you have a few skin issues that we have to care for on an ongoing basis, right?
Okay.
But we do that, and for the most part, it's okay. We do yoga 1 day a week. Which day is that, Mark?
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. It's
Well,
Yoga Taco Tuesday, right? And track and field.
And unified track, yep.
That's right. Well, we are coming up on the completion of 3 years of this show, Mark.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, but we have
Right.
done it together as a team.
That's
And,
good.
you know, along with our producer Liz there. And
Yeah.
Mark is also responsible for assisting in the setup of the set, right?
Yes, right.
The lighting,
Lights,
the microphones.
microphones.
In the future, shutting his phone off.
Sorry, just Timmy Santos.
We have a team of camera people that come down from the high school via Mr. Folster up there. He's the media teacher.
Yeah, he is.
And it's fantastic because Mark and I get to interact with all these different students and
Well,
from the school.
Well, I wouldn't know them because I'm in the school.
And he already knows them because he's up there and they all know him. But I get
Right.
to meet the kids.
And yeah,
You know?
because my mom knows some of my friends, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. I know some of them, and I get to meet these kids who come down and help us out. And we're grateful. Right, Mark?
That's
We're
right.
really
Yep,
grateful.
yeah.
Mark, do you enjoy your work here at the studio?
It's awesome. I think I'm doing good.
Yes, I think you are too. And I think Liz would agree. It's come a long way since we started here 3 years
Right,
ago.
yeah.
And we plan on continuing this on, for a while.
Yeah.
Mark has always enjoyed taking pictures and videos. When he was little, he loved those little throwaway cameras. And we have many pictures that were taken from a unique angle. And I would use those cameras as a reward when he was younger. Mark is also a musician. Tell us a little about that.
Well, it started off, I have it right here, but when I was like, I don't even know what, I was old.
2 years old?
I was like 2 years old at the latest, and I wound up being a band, and I wrote some stuff, and I talked to some people, and I said, hey, I want to meet up, have a jam session, and also my guitar teacher, John, I called him up, I said, hey, let's do this. So we got it all together. We made it up for a little bit, and it's still going on, and it's just a great thing, it's my favorite stuff.
It is.
What I like to do, and it's just great.
It is. It is his favorite thing to do. He loves to play his instruments. He plays both the guitar and the drums.
Yes.
And is particularly good on the djembe drum, which is that hourglass type bongo
yeah.
drum that he plays.
Yep.
Very good at that. So you will play for us a little at the end of the show during my Shavasana,
Of
Mark?
course.
Okay, well, Mark, thanks for coming out in front of the camera. And
No
now
problem.
he'll go on back to his
See you
directing. He's going to go back in and direct the show.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the end, Mark. Thank
Yeah.
you. So we begin here today in this position by bringing our attention to the rise and the fall of the breath. And we rest here in the Supta Baddha Konasana. If you have a bolster and a pillow and blocks, you can set up in this position. Just allowing the chest and the hips to open, noticing the sensation of the skin meeting between the feet, that feeling just as they come together. If you don't have this equipment, then just rest on your back with your legs straight, your head on a little pillow in Shavasana. And we begin to notice the rise and fall of the breath. we know that this breath, this life-giving breath, happens automatically. But in yoga, we attempt to just notice it, to cultivate an awareness around the breath. When we practice alternate nostril breath, which is good for the skin, we balance the brain and we just bring things into, bring more oxygen in. And many yogis believe that many diseases are caused by faulty nasal breathing. So we just notice the breath. As we rest here, we allow our concerns to drift away. And we want to just begin to bring some more breath, make it a little deeper. So as we inhale, we bring some air into the belly, filling that, and then moving it up into the rib cage, all the way to the top. A nice fluid breath. At the top, we just pause a second or two, kumbhaka, that pause, and then releasing chest, ribs, abdomen. Again, filling the abdomen, expanding the ribs, lifting the chest. Pause, and then releasing that chest, the ribs, the abdomen. We release the shoulders away from the ears. And just returning to that natural rhythm of the breath. So in yoga, we just really cultivate an awareness so that we begin to notice things like the breath, things that we never noticed before, how we sit or stand or think, how we think. So just now bring the arms up in the air and just open and close the fists. So we make a loose fist and then we spread the fingers. This is good for arthritis in the hands. We tend to not use the hands enough in the right way. And then move the palms forward and press the palms up to the ceiling, stretching those wrists, and then dropping down as we just do that full flexion of the hand, which we don't always do. And then interlacing that, just extend that up. Inhale. Extend the arms forward on the exhale. Inhale. Up to the ceiling, exhale. Bring the hands apart, one to each elbow. Allow that to rest. Either here or if your shoulders are tight on the forehead, just letting that open the chest and releasing the shoulders. And now bring the elbows up, bring them down towards your chest a little, and then move the elbows to the right and turn your head to the left. Feeling a nice stretch through the shoulder and the neck's getting a stretch. Come back up to the center here, move the elbows to the left and the head to the right. And then coming back up to center, releasing the hands. And just release the blocks to the side, bring the feet to the floor. Gently just rock that back and forth a little. You just notice the movement, the motion over the body, how it feels. And then coming back to center. Make the legs long and extend the arms and extend the legs. So we're being pulled from one direction and the other, stretching the spine because that's how we get the energy. We just release energy. We don't make it, we release it by stretching the spine. Exhaling down. Point and flex the feet a few times. And then slide the heels apart and bring the big toes together and point them forward. So let that stretch through the inner groin. You should feel a pretty good stretch there with that. And then bring them towards the ceiling and just windshield wiper them back and forth. And then spread the feet apart so they're the distance of the mat. Bring the hands to a goalpost. Bring the index finger and thumb together. And as you rotate the hands, rotate the feet. Lubricating the wrist and the ankles. Go the other way. Beautiful. And coming back to center, tap the backs of the legs, just waking those legs up. Again, extend the arms and legs. Exhaling down. And now I'll just have you come up and move your bolster off to the side or your pillow and come back down to a flat back. Have your blocks nearby and just coming back down. Again, make the arms and legs long and exhaling the arms down by the sides. Bring the feet up to the floor one at a time. And just for a moment, bring your back, the small of the back, to the floor. As we do that pelvic tilt, bringing the pelvis towards the face, we just push the lower back in, release it. Again, push it in and release it. So we're just warming up the lower back, that's all. And then bring the left leg over the right. Line up your knee and your hip so that this is a nice straight line. And open with the right hand that thigh, and then draw that up and just gently rock it in. Now try to flex your foot that's crossed, just to keep the ankle safe there. And this is called eye of the needle. And then we're just going to bring this down to the floor, the left foot. We're going to slide the ankle over a little more. So now we're not in a straight line here. We're closer together. Bring that up. Notice the difference. Notice how you're hitting a different area of the back. Bring the left foot down, cross all the way. Right hand comes out. Try to keep your right shoulder down. If you have to do this, it depends on your shoulder or comfort. But just keep it there as you bring. Maybe you can't go all the way to the floor. That's okay. Just try to twist that over to the side. Take a breath. And then inhaling to center. And then if you're able in this way and you don't have any abdominal issues, you can bring the legs up, either holding behind or in front. Give a little squeeze to those abdominals, because remember, with the twist and the squeezing, we're releasing toxins. And if we're trying to improve the condition of the skin, getting rid of toxins in the body is a good idea. Release the legs. Uncross. Bring the left over the right. Make sure the hip and knee are in line. Foot is flexed. Draw that up. If you're not feeling a stretch here, then you need to open that up a little more. Gently rock. Left foot comes down. Slide this over a little more. Yeah, bring this together. Now bring it up. Rocking gently. And then bring the right foot to the floor. Cross all the way over. Left hand comes down over beside you. T or a slight T. And then the right hand guides those knees over, just to wherever they'll go to get that nice twist. Take a big breath. Come back up to center, and again, lift those up if you can, either here or here, and just gently squeeze that. You feel those organs, internal organs, getting that nice squeezing action like a sponge. And then just undoing that again, extend the arms and legs. And now just bring your block between your thighs in this manner. And bring your hands down beside you. Walk your shoulders down. Press down with your palms. Press down with your feet. And lift up into Setu Bandha, into that bridge pose. Now as you do that, you want to broaden the shoulders against the floor. You want to lift the front thighs right up towards the ceiling. The block has stabilized your hips, so your knees are going to be a little closer together than they would in a general pose. Take a breath. And then let that come down easily, one vertebrae at a time. And now leaving the block there and leaving your upper body in that position, I want you to just lift the soles of the feet off the floor, but only a little. Now, let me preface that by saying, if you have a lower back issue and this bothers you at all, or if any position bothers you, do not do it. Now, it shouldn't cause pain if you get a gentle stretching, even an intense stretching, but not pain. So we want to lift the soles of the feet. Less is better with this pose, so I don't want you up, even 2 inches off the floor. You want to stay really down close to the floor. You're going to feel the core engage here. Take a breath. And then lower that down. And then once again, lift that up just a little bit and take a few breaths. And now draw that up into your towards your chest. Spread the arms as much as you're able, and let the legs go without lifting this off the shoulders, off the floor. Let them go as far left as they will. So we're just getting a little action in the core, coming up to center, going the other way. And a little twisting action too. Coming back up to center. Bring the feet down to the floor. Extend them with the block. Extend the arms. Exhaling down. And then we'll just come up to a seated position for a moment. So we want to just cross the legs and bring the knees under as much as we're able. Bring the hands to the legs like this. And as you move back, let the arms lengthen. And just pull the belly back and then come forward, inhale. Lift the chest and then come back. Pull the belly, lengthen the arms, come back up, inhale. Exhale back. And then coming up. Now we talked about the alternate nostril breathing. So we'll try a little of that. One hand comes down, the other one, the two fingers come together. These two are extended long. They may not want to stay together at first, but they will over time. And so we just keep the spine straight, but we drop the head just a tiny bit. We bring this either above, resting, or just right around that area. Block with the thumb. Inhale on the finger side. Block finger, open thumb, exhale. Inhale, thumb side. Block, exhale, finger. Inhale, finger. Block, exhale, thumb. Make sure your left hand's relaxed. Inhale, thumb. Exhale, finger. Bringing the hands down. Inhale the head left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Come back to the center. Now we're just going to bring one arm up, stretch it over, and just lean the head to one side, just stretching that neck. And then come back up and lengthen the arm and lean to the side. And then coming up again, that arm comes up, drapes, moves the head to the side. I have to be a little gentle with my head set on here. And then coming up, and then moving over. And then just coming up. Inhale, around the shoulders. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Okay, now bring the legs out and bring them wide. So what I do, because this is a challenging position for me, I move the buttocks flush back. And I actually try to sort of move myself forward. Now you ground down with the legs and the calves there, so you get that nice strong feeling in the legs, and you lift up. So even if this is all you can do, this is a tough posture for me, I continue to keep trying it. So take a breath. Let the feet be up but not too rigid. And then coming back. Bring the legs together, tap them. And now let's come up and let's just come to a pose with on our hands and knees. So let's come to this position on the hands and feet. Inhale the head up. Exhale, round and tuck. Inhale up. Exhale, round and tuck. Letting that head drop. And then come to neutral and just tap the feet. And then curl those toes and just rock them a little. And then let's come and just take the blanket off. And let's stay down here for a moment, though, on the hands and knees. So we know, too, that the inversions are good for the skin. So let's do that down dog, because it is a slight inversion where the head is below the heart. We bring the hands down, the knuckles into the floor as much as possible, tucking the toes, same distance as the hands apart, coming up into downward facing dog. And then we'll move into plank pose. And then we're going to turn to the roll to the sides of the feet, doing that half plank. Now remember, you can always drop that back knee if that's problematic for you. And then we come back into plank and we just move to the other side, either on the sides of the feet, or you can drop that back knee as you move hand, so whichever is best for you. And now we come back, and now keep it in plank pose. Rock the heels back and forth a little. And then come in and come down in chaturanga. If you can always drop your knees first. But if not, hold them in near your side. Come down, see if you can stop a minute. And then come all the way down, knees, chest, chin, all at once. And now let's do cobra, which is great for the skin too. So we press down with the palms next to us. Roll the shoulders back so the blades move down the back. Make sure, lift your feet up for a minute. Stretch your toes. And then place them back down so that all 5 of the finger toenails are on the floor. And then peel the chest up without compressing that lower back. So just go as far as you can. And then coming back down. And just bring your hands to this position beside you. And then lift up the hands and the feet. Taking a breath. And then come up to child's pose. So this is also good for the skin. We just put the toes together. The knees should be just wide enough apart to fit the chest through. And resting the head. And just taking a breath there. So we know from all the scientific evidence lately that it's good for you. Yoga is good for you. So we know that it sharpens the mind. It's good for Alzheimer's, actually lengthening the telomeres in your cells. It's good for depression. It's good for anxiety. So we know that this is good stuff. Okay, so let's come up. No, before we come up, let's take a block once and put it right between the thighs, long ways. And now we're just going to do that plank pose again. So let's try that. Now remember to bring the shoulders right over the wrist and make sure your index fingers are parallel or outward. Now, the buttocks comes down, but the tummy stays up. And in this position with the block, we get that sensation of the internal rotation of the thighs. And that's a common thing in the poses. So this gives us a very good sensation of that. And then just coming to the knees, removing the block. So let's come up to standing. And we're just going to come into Tadasana. We're working on that root chakra, grounding down today. So we ground into the mat with the feet. We lift the arms above the head, extending up and folding. Coming to look behind you in Uttanasana, forward fold. And then bending the knees, we come up. And exhale. Step a little wider apart than hip distance. And bring the hands interlaced behind you. And then as you straighten up the spine and you bend towards one leg, let the arms come up behind you. Take a breath. Keep the legs long and straight. Don't lock the knees. Bring the hands down to the back as you raise the torso up. Lengthen the spine. Move towards the other leg. Take a breath. Bring the hands down. Bring the torso up. Extend the arms up. Bring the feet back together. And just reaching up. Interlace the fingers. Extend up. And down. Come up on the toes. Just balancing on the toes, strengthening those. And then exhaling down. Let's step wide. Step as wide as you're able. Turn one foot out all the way and the other one turns in. Extend your arms. So we're going for that horizontal expansion and that vertical extension. And then we just bend that forward knee so that we bring the knee right over the ankle and we gaze out over that hand. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Bring the hand down to that. Make sure your knee moves towards the little toe side. Extend over. Nice line of energy all the way up the side. Come back up. Come back to the middle position, turning the feet forward. Bring the other foot that way, back one in, extend the arms. And sometimes we can draw back a little here. just so the torso doesn't lean forward as we move into the posture. So just bending that forward knee. Sometimes people want to go like this. So as we lean back, we come into that. It gives you that. And then gazing. Bring the arm down, extend over. And then coming back up into center. Okay, let's come to the front of the mat. I want to just touch on some of the finer points of pigeon today. So we're going to inhale up, exhale, and we're going to come into our downward facing dog position. Now, we're going to lift the back leg, the right leg up, and draw it into the chest and come across so that the foot is just to the outside of this left hand. And we lengthen that back leg down behind us. Now, the thing is, we want to make sure those toenails are down against the floor so it's flat. That foot wants to turn. So we lift up so that we can examine what's going on in the back. This leg wants to be as parallel to the mat as possible. This should rest on the mat or just about there. If you're not, you need to support that with a pillow. And now try folding down. This is an intense stretch for the hips. Now you have the back leg is neutral. It's stretching the psoas. The front one is externally rotated, stretching the buttocks and the hip. Come up, and if you can, reach back with that hand and just lift that leg. Get a nice stretch of the quad back there. And then release, coming back into it. Let's go back up into down dog. Taking a breath. Lift the back leg. Draw it to the chest. Bring it over. Just hits to the right of that right hand. Again, we try to shuffle that foot back a little more. Flatten the toes down. Raising up. Take a breath. And then lower yourself down. Stretch. Let that hip stretch. And then walk it back up. And if you can, just reach back and take that other leg. And just stretch that quad. You can also reach your hand forward, too, if you like. So as you move along in your postures, you can add these things. Come to child's pose, rest the head. Grab a block, rest your head on a block. And just for a moment, allow all of your thoughts to just move into the block. And then coming up. So coming up to standing once more. Let's move to the front of the mat here, and we'll run through the sun salutation. So again, you'll modify as you're able. Inhale up, fold, step back with the left foot, right into Anjanasana. Now, for those who want to modify, you can drop that back leg just like that. Otherwise, keep it tucked. Create resistance there. Keep your gaze in front of your mat. Bring the other foot back to meet it in plank. Keep the elbows in. Come on down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flip the feet to the top. Come up into Cobra. Or, if you like, up dog. Flip the feet. Come back to down dog. Gaze towards your hands. Step forward with your left foot. Back into Anjanasana. Again, move the right foot forward. Come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale to prayer. Releasing. Inhale, let's do the other side. Fold. Step back with the right foot. Left knee is right over the ankle. Nice and strong with the back leg straight. And now let's come to plank pose, bringing that other foot back to meet it. Keeping the belly up, the buttocks down, keep the arms in, come on down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Keep the arms next to you, push up. Flip the feet, come up, down dog. Look towards the hands, move the right foot forward, back into Anjanasana. Move the left foot back to the right foot and come into that fold. Inhale up. Exhale to prayer. And let's do warrior one. Let's step back with the left foot angled out a little. Draw the arms up vertical to the ear. Bend the forward knee. And then we'll try warrior three, where we bring the chest down and lift up buoyantly. And then coming down. So if you're just trying that, we're just kind of planting the seed. Let's come to chair. Raise the arms up, and as you come down, just bend the knees, but keep the torso as straight as you can. And take a breath as we just build some endurance and stamina here. And then bring the hands behind as you draw the chest down towards the knees and lift the arms up. And then bring the hands towards the back as you come up. Release, inhale, exhale. Bring the left foot up so the leg is parallel, the thigh is parallel to the ground. Bring the hands to prayer, step back, extend up, and just bend forward. Bring the hands to the waist, step forward. Bring the right thigh parallel to the floor, and the hands to prayer, and just step back. Extend the arms up, fold. And then coming back up, step to the front. And now we'll just bring our blanket back down and come to the bolster for a few moments of meditation. And if you are using a bolster, just support your knees with the blocks. So now we just come to this place, resting the hands on the tops of the thighs. And we'll do 2 rounds of Ujjayi breath, where we constrict slightly at the back of the throat, making an audible sound. We inhale. And now we bring the attention to the root chakra, the base of the spine. We envision a 4-petal lotus, red lotus flower there. And we envision red light emanating from there. This root chakra is the center of our stability. It's where our ancestral memories are. It's associated with the legs, the lower extremities, the lower spine, actually the skeleton and the teeth too. And when this chakra is open, we feel very secure and stable. And this chakra is also like the root. It's like the birthplace. It's kind of like an infant part of us. And that's great because there's that wanderlust that goes with that infancy, with being a child. But also there's that lack of direction that goes with that. So we try to encourage the chakra to open and so that it can flow properly, energy can flow properly there. And the seed sound for this chakra is Lam. So we'll do Lam twice, inhaling now to begin. And now we move to Shavasana, placing the bolster beneath the legs and the pillow beneath the head. And Mark will be playing some music for us while we do this Shavasana. He'll be playing his guitar for us. So now again we come to Shavasana, and to the rise and fall of our breath. Mark will be playing some guitar for us as we go through our Shavasana, our little rest period. And we bring the attention to the breath. Just noticing the rise and fall of the breath and noticing the quality of the breath. We allow our thoughts to remain descended while we enjoy these few moments of quiet, letting the body soften into the mat, relaxing the body and relaxing the mind. While you just rest there, I'll just read to you. Consider the challenge of body on mind in an asana. The outer leg overstretches, but the inner leg drops. We can choose whether to let the situation be, or we can challenge the imbalance by the application of cognitive comparison, supported by the force of will. Maintaining the equilibrium so that there is no backsliding. We can add our observation of the knees, feet, skin, ankles, soles of the feet, toes, etc. The list is endless. Our attention is not only enveloping, but penetrating. Can we, like a juggler, keep these many balls in the air without letting anyone drop? Without any release of attention? Is it any wonder asana takes many years to perfect? And now we'll gently roll to the side and rest there a moment. We rest with a feeling of acceptance as we understand our path is our own. And then we come to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and bow the busy, intelligent mind to the more intuitive wisdom of the heart. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you home. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.